on your dial right now with SEC stories every play, every time with Rob Browne breaking it all down. Yeah. SEC Sidelines sports on my mind. Rob Browne calling game time, highlight shine, executive mind. Brendan Martin keeping Rob in line. Like, subscribe, share it, tell everyone. Sideline sports, I'll come back real soon. Same place, same time, same tune.
I love this.
The boys, man. You gotta give them a name. I don't know what to name the band. We're gonna have a name the band competition.
Yeah.
We should call them the Rob Browns.
No. The Ocala 5.
Oh, I don't know about that. We're gonna have to get a little bit more. You're so regional, Rob. I'm taking major contracts here.
How about
the? They never leave.
How about the Southern boys? I mean, Southern.
You're fired. You're completely fired. I'm going to the audience.
Well, we're gonna ask. Yeah, let's do that.
Ask John Brady, Coach John Brady, in the green room with Coach
Matt
double
Dean.
Coaches, two coaches, a double today.
Hey,
Coach Matt Dean and Coach John Brady.
Get your whiteboard out, folks. We're going to do some strategizing today. Do us a favor. Brendan is right. Share us, like us, and subscribe. Every one of you that knows me, share, like, and subscribe. As soon as we start this show, share it on your Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. We are broadcasting, streaming live on 8 channels simultaneously. And look, we do this Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. We got 8 shows on this channel. Share us, like, and subscribe. Look, let's go straight to it. There's a lot to talk about SEC basketball. We got two of the best. Coach John Brady is the color analyst now, former coach at LSU and Samford and Arkansas State. Also Coach Matt Dean at Rhodes College, working again with the women. He's got, between the two of them, we got about 60 plus years of coaching experience. And Coach, you look great on the set. I'm going to tell you what, that IT crash course that we put you through, it works. And Matt's in the red and black Lynx lair there in Germantown, Tennessee, and Brendan in Ocala. Coach, I want to start with you. I'm going to ask Coach Dean, actually Coach Brady first, and then to Coach Dean. I don't understand how LSU's not good in everything. I said that before the show. They have the money, they have the fans, they have the passion, you have everything. Why is it so hard for LSU to get over the hump in the post-Will Wade era? Hell of a coach. We all know what happened, but damn, Mike McMahon has won everywhere he's been. What is it going to take for LSU to get over the hump?
Well, this is my observation in a nutshell. Matt, I really like Matt, and he and I had some great conversations, and he knows exactly where he is in terms of being able to work at LSU next year. I don't think that staff is living in a dream world, but I think the biggest thing about LSU in terms of their basketball team since Matt's been there is in 4 years we haven't had an all-league player. And that's it in a nutshell. I mean, you can be the best coach in the country, but if you're going against some of these cats in the SEC and how good they are, and I've always said good coaching and good players make for really good teams, and we don't have the players to play a complete 40-minute game against some of the talent in this league. And I don't, and then I think it's an evaluation issue. You know, we're you know, it's like some of these teams that aren't very good, there's a lot of money on that bench that's not producing. Yeah. And that's when it gets really, really critical. You know, you're going to miss on some from time to time, but to not have an all-league player or a pro at LSU in 4 years, that's really the reason, in my opinion, where we find ourselves.
Well, I quoted you yesterday. I use this quote a lot. People say, "Yeah, we've got a couple of lottery picks on this team." I say, to quote the great John Brady, you know, lottery players don't go out and score 2 points and get 1 rebound. They're 12 to 20 and 10 to 15 every night, says the man from Macomb. I agree with that.
Well, you know, it's a evaluate, particularly now. You know, I ask our staff, you know, when the season's over, they're in the transfer portal, and they don't sign guys they really see play. They go on the film, which to me, film's one thing. Analytics, which is which overrides common sense sometimes, which I don't know if I would totally can sell myself to analytics. And they sometimes the kids sign without coming. Sometimes they spend 24 hours and that's it. So I think the evaluation in this transfer portal issue is critical. And how about this? I ask our compliance guy, what about during the course of the year, uh, hire a guy through the athletic department that knows what he's doing to go out and watch the top 30 or 40 mid-major players in the country. Buy a ticket, walk in the door, sit there and watch them play and eyeball how they warm up, how they interact with their coach, how they interact with their other teammates. All those intangible things I think go into winning. But they don't get to see them like that. Uh, so if it's not illegal, and I think what our compliance said, if that team you're going to see play is not on your schedule, you're not scouting that team. So if that's the case, give me about 30 or 40 names. I'll go eyeball them and tell you if they're any good or not, and pay me a little juice, with the money. Look, with the money, LSU just went through $150 million transaction, paying our football coach $52 million, paying off other coaches about $10 million.
Yeah.
Bringing Lane Kiffin in here and paying him $80 million or $90 million for 8 years guaranteed, paying his assistant coaches $2 million to be coordinators, and then giving him $25 million of NIL money. That's about $150 million. You start adding it up. Yeah. Most schools are like this to me. They have no money till they need the money, and for some reason it just shows up. And so that I think to see mid-major players play, if you're going to go in there and try to get one, you might as well have a list of guys that you can identify that can help your team. And then if they put their name in the portal or however this behind the scenes is going, with talking to agents and all of that sort of thing, you kind of know who's going to be in the portal and who isn't. Yeah. And then I think that would save a lot of time and really help them out in terms of pinpointing guys that are really good enough.
Yeah. Look, this is a great book. We have John Talty from down in Birmingham. He's now CBS senior college football writer. The Price, along with Armin Katian, wrote this book, What It Takes to Win in College Football's Era of Chaos. It's the same thing for basketball. Coach Matt Dean, come in here and, you heard what Coach Brady just said. That's brilliant stuff. And you're not hearing that on SEC Network because they don't have coaches like John Brady, coaches like you on there. We have players, but we don't have former coaches. And we need to be listening to what you're saying because when E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen. When y'all speak, people take notes and listen.
So I think that may be, Coach Brady, the single best idea I have heard in terms of the evaluation process and getting someone like yourself. I'm going to pay you a contract. Legally, we cleared it with compliance. We're going to watch someone that's not on our schedule. I got back into it this summer. So the first thing my head coach did was she sent me out, Coach, these events at our level, your level, you go out, you're sitting with your colleagues, you're watching kids play. She said, I want you to watch this point guard. We haven't offered her yet. 5 minutes later, I'm sitting with 3 different coaches in our league who's offered this kid. And I question back to my head coach is, why haven't you offered this kid? She can play for us right away. So whether I'm right or wrong is kind of indifferent. I think the evaluation process, you said it, Coach. I've been a much better coach the years I've had all league players, especially I've been able to coach 3 different players of the years in the league. And those teams won conference championships and played the NCAA tournament. Now, when I didn't have that, you know what, Coach? I didn't go to the NCAA tournament. It's just the bottom line. And, last week I was on this show and we were a little down on Stephen Pearl 2 weeks ago, right? He was 10-7. Well, look what. I'm going to tell you something, guys. Coach has done this at a much higher level than I have. I've got 237 career wins, but when I went from an assistant coach to a head coach, and I worked for a Hall of Fame coach, that first year was grueling. It's a transition. So he's won 4 in a row. They're 5-3 in the league now. I'm not saying they're going to make a deep run in the tournament, but you got to give him time. We got to get over the whole, whether it's a Nepo hire or whatever, that's irrelevant now. He's in the seat. I think he's going to be an elite recruiter. I'm from the state of Iowa. I remember when his dad was working with Dr. Tom Davis, when we made our run, his father was an elite coach and elite recruiter. So just going back to what Coach said, evaluation is everything, guys. And it's beauty in the eye of the beholder. If you see a player that fits your system, some people may not be on that kid, but if you have a vision for a player, I think that's part of being a really good coach is knowing who fits your system. I don't care if they're a 3-star coach. If I like that kid, I'm going to go after that kid. And I'll give you a great example. I was working for my boss. I love the player. I said, Coach, you got to go watch this point guard play from Christian Brothers High School. I'm not going to give up the name, Rob, but he ended up transferring us. He was there. The kid got a technical foul. He came back. Coach called me, said, we're done with the kid. I'm like, Coach, I love the kid, but he was really adamant that discipline, character, behavior mattered. And I think everyone has their set of standards, and you just got to hold to your guns. And Coach, you said it. These portal kids, we got a couple tapes on these kids, and now we're going to give them hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not a good recipe for success.
Yeah. Coach, I mean, it's so true. Like yesterday, I'm telling you about a little duck hunting. I was laying on the blind, flat on my back. Ducks came in a couple of times. I was shooting under them. I moved, and my buddy Mark Ham, my wife's cousin, was with me, and he said, hey, even Michael Jordan has nights where he only scores 2 points. I'm like, well, am I the Michael Jordan of duck hunting? But I moved, took off my glasses, sat on the swamp stool, and then I started having success. Coach, both of y'all are so intellectually above what I have. Just keep talking. I mean, this is some of the best stuff I've heard in a long time. I like Michael Jordan. That is Michael Jordan. That's my friend, Michael MJ. Hey, Coach Dean, can you beat my CBC Bucks? Bring it back. I love that.
I've done that twice in my career as a head women's coach at Rose College, MJ. We've done that twice. We're non-scholarship, 30 ACT average. They are at least 10 scholarships. I thought maybe 8 at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was
done
good.
It twice.
And look, Coach Brady, looking at the SEC this year, Bucky McMillan, man, Mountain Brook, what he did, you lived in Birmingham over on Lakeshore Drive for 8 years coaching Samford. What he did at Mountain Brook, was it 8 years?
Well, let me see, 92, 6 years. Six.
Okay. 6 years you lived in Birmingham.
Dog years, that's 42, Rob.
Yeah, in 42. Yeah, and I got to say, Bucky, I don't know if Bucky was he coaching or playing at Mountain Brook when you were there? Because he built that. Okay.
Let me tell you about Bucky.
Yeah.
Bucky came to my camps at Stanford. He was in my camps. I've known Bucky since he was, 9th grade.
Yeah.
And he used to come to all our games when he was younger, and he wanted to come to Stanford. This is a true story. And I didn't think he was good enough. And he's got a great family. His mom and dad are terrific. Mm-hmm. And he went to play for Dwayne Rebold at Birmingham Southern and had a good career.
Yeah.
But he was he wanted to come to Stanford, and Bucky's he's special. Now he's extremely intelligent. He knows how to handle people and players. People really like him when they get to know him, and he's my vote right now for SEC Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, they were picked toward the bottom, and what he's done is incredible. And as he recruits, now he can evaluate for his system. You're talking about a guy who identifies players that plays in a system that he's going to promote. He can do that. And I feel like year in, year out, they're going to be in the top 4 or so in this league. And he'll have a chance to do something special there at Texas A&M.
Will he be the Kurt Signetti of college basketball?
Well, no, because I don't think so, because he's at A&M, and that's Indiana. A&M hasn't been the worst basketball team in the country. Right. Indiana's been the worst, and what they've done there in football has been incredibly crazy. So, but Bucky's going to be good, and he'll always be good. And he would when he was at Stanford as a head coach. They redid the whole arena. They took the old arena and kind of built it up and put a new student center in there. And they had me come over, and Bucky and I had a hard hat on, and we walked through the campus and walked through how it used to be when I was there, and they showed film of that and how it's going to be and all of that. And the ending of the thing was, Bucky looked at me and he says, Coach, when I was in high school, I watched every game, and I remember Brady ball at Stanford University. I said, yeah, Bucky, it used to be that way, but now we call it Bucky ball. So it was a pretty good little piece that we did. And He's gonna be really good. That was a great hire, A&M.
Yeah, well, I think the founder of Buc-ee's Travel Centers, we've all been to a Buc-ee's or we're going to go to one soon. Wait until some kind of NIL sponsorship comes along with Buc-ee's Ball. Is that coming? I mean, I just think it, but the guy is a basketball junkie, and basketball is such a cool sport. No matter where you are, it doesn't take as many as football does. But I love your take on the evaluation. Matt Dean, jump back in here. Folks, all of you watching, like us, share us, subscribe to us. Folks, like my friend Michael Jordan said, I'm the only MJ of duck hunting. You will never be. Well, that's right. I'm RB. But anyway, I love this take on evaluation, Matt. Both of y'all, when you all look at a player, it's so different than when the average Joe out there looks at a player. What are 2 or 3 characteristics they've got to have, or you just fold the page?
Well, one of the things I'll take a step further is I also, besides being an evaluator, I rely on my staff a lot. And I love all my assistants who's worked for me. I've had, coach in Memphis. I've had a lot of part-time people because we have a lot of former basketball people that live in the framework of Memphis, Tennessee. And if we're always on the same page on a kid and we feel the same way, I love that. Now, I respect devil advocacy. I want to know the honest opinion. If I watch a kid and you watch a kid, and you're the head coach and I'm an assistant, first of all, you got to like him for me to have a shot to get that kid in the program, right? But secondly, I don't want to be, if I'm on a staff, the only person on an island for a kid sometimes. That's what's hard. If you have 3 or 4 people on staff and there's a little disagreement, the head coach should win and will win. But going back to your initial point, Coach, right now, all it takes is 1 or 2 kids to change the whole landscape of the LSU program. And because basketball, I've said this, we had 3 straight years at Rhodes College that I was fortunate enough to get 3 Division I transfers from Elon, Lauren Avant, who played for me, the head coach at Lipscomb now. She played for Pat Summitt, and Simone Daniels, who was at Drake, my alma mater. Those 3 years, I was the best head coach I've ever been. And then we took a little bit of a dip because we got back to those 32 ACT kids. But the reality of the situation is it's all about players. It is all about players. And sometimes you got to be fortunate. Twice in my career, I was 1 possession away from the Sweet 16 as a coach. And I look back one time, Coach, we were down 16 early in the second half of a basketball game, had to use a timeout. Late in the game with 5 seconds to go, we get a deflection. We're getting ready to run a set side out of bounds play. The officials moves it to underneath out of bounds. So a different play, right? We had no timeouts. I couldn't stop play. If I could go back, I would have argued that call more vigorously and had my assistant group the players over and pick out an underneath out of bounds play. I just threw something out there. So we remember, I'm sure, Coach, you remember those possessions where it didn't go your way. And it's the staff. In my opinion, Rob, it's the staff that makes a really successful program. The head coach gets all the credit, but it's the staff.
Yeah. Well, it's like Coach Brady. I want to ask you the demeanor. Yeah, both of y'all. You can't just lose it out there. And I notice some coaches don't call a lot of timeouts late in the game. Bruce Pearl lets the players. He goes, I'm not going to micromanage you. It's watching the staff on the sidelines and the demeanor, and listening to you call a game as color analyst on the LSU Basketball Network, Sports Network, is really cool. I think we need to have more coaches again on SEC Network, because you're not going to hear what we've just heard in the last 15 minutes ever. All right, Coach, I got some questions from some Mississippi State fans down in Coahoma County and Bolivar County, Mississippi. What about Chris Jans? I like this. One of them said, Coach, John, he said, you've got a job in Starkville lined up. Jans won't be around very long. Look, fans are rough, and you know what it's like to be on the other end of being a coach when you get criticism and all. But, the Hump is a tough place to play. It's a lot of tradition there. I'm a junkie I remember Big Mondays, Big East and Big 12 Monday night basketball. Watching, I love the Cat House at Villanova. 5,000 people sitting crisscross applesauce right there on the floor. Every time you go for a ball, you go into the crowd. Temple, John Chaney and his loving relationship with John Calipari, all that stuff I love. So, I'm sure they still are good friends. But talk about basketball, the state of college basketball in this country right now that you're seeing? Is the SEC up, down, and what's going on in Starkville? That's a lot. I just threw at you the all-you-can-eat buffet at Barnhill's Country Buffet.
Oh my goodness.
You there? Oh no. Well, we lost. I think my question was so long, I broke the internet. Coach, my question was so long, it broke the fiber. Okay, go ahead. I threw a lot at you, but let's talk about Mississippi State, what's going on there, and then the state of college basketball. Look at the SEC. Is it up or down?
I think the SEC is not as good as it was a year ago. And I think that's why a lot of teams are winning on the road. 3 of the 4 won on the road last night. Last week, it was the same situation. We were the only team that couldn't win at Arkansas last week. So I think there's some good teams. I don't think there's a team that is hands down to go to the Final Four. I think they're going to have to experience some upsets. Florida's different than last year. They don't shoot it as well from the perimeter. Their inside game's really good. I could go down the list and give you the reasons why. But our game with Mississippi State last night, Mississippi State is shooting 23% from the three-point line so far in the SEC after 7 games. They came in here last night in the first half. They were 7 for 10 from the three. They were 11 for 21 for the game. I mean, just something they did. And I think a lot of, and we were favored to win the game by 7 or 7.5. So I think upsets happen when teams do something uncharacteristic of what they've normally done. I was hoping that through the course of the 40-minute game that Mississippi State would show up, and they really are. They're a poor three-point shooting team, but last night they just came out and just murdered us. They were up 23 at the half, and that's our team isn't built to come from behind like that. So that's why we lost the game like we did. But college basketball today, we could go on a seminar about everything. And I've said this before. Maybe I'm a sentimental guy. I don't know what I.
Well, I am. I mean, I am all about history.
I got into coaching because I wanted to win.
Yeah.
Hello?
And
Can
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. We got you.
I got into coaching for different mistakes.
Okay.
We do as coaches, what the same. It's just win the game regardless of how. And if you win, it justifies whatever you did to win the game. And I think that's kind of where we are.
Yeah. And Coach, we're losing the signal here a little bit, but I get exactly what you're saying. I like the comment from Michael Jordan. I love hearing more about what's behind evaluating talent. You can be the best player on the street, but poison on a team. Matt Dean, add to that. That's a great take.
Well, and just like football, we talk about the quarterback, and in basketball, we talk about the point guard. The point guard essentially is your quarterback in basketball. And if you don't have a really good point guard that can manage you through some tough situations, especially on the road when the crowd's into it and you may be going through a down spurt, you have to have that point guard. I mean, you got to have everything. Don't get me wrong. Got to have bigs, got to have wings. And Coach just mentioned shooting. Those times when you face a team that's not very good from the three-point line, you may play some different coverages, a little zone action. And when they make 7 of 10, Coach, you're not going to win the game. That's just the bottom line. That's the ball. It's a game of shots. When you make shots as a basketball team, you play better. Yeah. And that's just always been the bottom line.
Yeah. Coach, come back in here before you go. And we're working on this. Google Chrome, I think, is what helps. But anyway, I love your take on evaluating the talent. To kind of recap what you said earlier, you cannot go out and watch people. There's rules. I can't believe the NCAA is talking about enforcing rules, but yeah, it's like an arranged marriage, and it's hard to reminisce with people you met 5 minutes ago. I mean, it's, how do you do it?
Well, just what I said in the opening thing, if you go, you can go watch teams play as long as they're not on your schedule. Now, if you happen to play them in the playoffs or the NCAA tournament, that's okay. But if a team is not on your schedule, you can go watch them play. That's what the LSU compliance guy were letting me know.
Yeah. And Coach, we may have, I'm surprised there's even a compliance guy still around in a college athletic department. Coach, just come back when you can. But Brendan, if we've lost him, we lost him. We'll get him back on next week. But Matt, I can't imagine the questions the compliance officer is asked today. They used to be really the most powerful person in the athletic department. I don't think it's like that anymore.
You know, you need to clip what he said earlier about that idea, because I think he had good internet at that point in time when he was staying there, because I really believe, Rob, that's a fascinating thought. And, you know, like that goes back to trusting your staff. Do you have someone that you could send out to those 30 or 40 players that you trust? Like, obviously, Coach has got a great background and probably a great relationship. And to send someone like Coach in there and watch these kids live, watch everything about them, I think that's invaluable. I think all you need to land is a few every year. You get 2 or 3 every year that can play. And that after 4 years, that's 8 to 12 pretty good ones. So you kind of lose those guys sometimes because of the NBA if they're really good. But I think that's a great idea, Coach.
Yeah.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it would work. That's what I told him. But have somebody has evaluated players at a high level and they understand and they can see,
Yeah. And Coach, I agree. You've got to be able to evaluate people. If you don't know the people that you're bringing on your team, it doesn't. I don't know how you can bring them in because you've got to find out how tough they are. Okay, that's the key. And I think that's one of the problems right now, as these guys come in for 24 hours and you don't know what they're really like in tough situations. Okay,
no, you don't.
And Coach Brady, hit airplane mode on your phone. What's happening every time you're getting an incoming call or text? I think that's knocking you off. That might be it. Or
no, I got it on airplane mode.
Okay,
he's flying.
I don't know what knocks me off.
It may be. Did y'all get much snow and ice in Baton Rouge?
I don't know. I was snowed in Fayetteville. We couldn't get out. I know they got some up there.
Yes, they did. Did y'all have to take the Greyhound back, or did y'all fly back?
No, we had to wait till Sunday afternoon. We played Saturday at 4:00. We couldn't get out Saturday nights. We left Fayetteville at 4:00 on Sunday afternoon.
Wow. Well, man, it is the Memphis area is still. I'm over in Parkin right now, and the roads are hard. I mean, thank God for 4-wheel drive. Get your F-150 with 4-wheel drive at LandersFordMemphis.com, and the new location at Mount Moriah and I-240, the old Dobbs location, the #1 Ford dealership in the world. So look, LandersFordMemphis.com. If it ain't got 4-wheel drive, is it really a truck, Coach Brady, Coach Dean? I mean, maybe you're
I sure wish I had one,
one,
Rob. I was stuck in my driveway 2 days with my Honda Pilot. Fist fighting.
Yeah.
You talk about pickup trucks. I'm from Macomb, Mississippi, and it's got to have a gun rack in the back too. That's right. 4-wheel drive and a gun rack.
That's right. 4x4 and heating and air and an 8-track. You know what's going to come back is 8-track players. Coach Brady, look, we got Gary Harris coming in from Tuscaloosa now, and I'm just going to tell you, let's do this again next week talking basketball. I'm actually going to get you on maybe earlier in the week too, maybe twice in some weeks if we can. But I think that idea that you gave about the evaluation, I'm with Matt Dean. That's the best idea I've heard about how to handle NIL, portal, and evaluation from anybody. You got the best idea in the country. And I know Brendan's going to put that out on Reels, and it'll be all over the country. But, Coach, thank you for what you do and your honesty. I absolutely love what you said because it's true. I totally agree with you.
I appreciate it. Look, next week, just give me a heads up day before, and I'll do it anytime. Love to.
I know. And we love having you on here, Coach John Brady, LSU, Samford, Arkansas State, Final Four. The last time I went to the Final Four was never. I've never been there before. And Gary Harris is going to join us here momentarily from Tuscaloosa. And I'm going to tell you what, all of you watching, thank you more than you know. We've got thousands of people. We had a 4.3 million during football season on one of our Facebook pages, Brendan said. A lot of big stories. Frank Duffy broke. We were ahead of the curve by 2 weeks on Kiffin going to LSU. There's a lot of stuff. The term breaking news is overused. It's like they just beat us over the head with that. The crawl at the bottom of the screen, everything is news. But what's happening in college basketball, I don't know, the SEC is not as good. I know it's not as good as it was last year. But, Matt, learning how to be a head coach, it's one thing to be a member of a team or a member of a club. Then all of a sudden, you're in charge of organizing everything. Suddenly, your thing that you focused on the most, you've got to do 10 things at once. You've been in that seat before, and you're back on the bench. Everybody, what is it? Clean up, everybody do their share, clean up. It takes a whole bunch of people to make a team work, including the players. And so great stuff. Gary Harris, Channel 23 in Tuscaloosa. Let's see. Are those cheeses?
Hang on.
We got you.
I got a new phone, and I had it up, and then Brennan sent me something to.
Okay, we got
this.
you.
Hang on. All right.
There we go. What, you got an Android or an iPhone?
No, I got the iPhone 17 Pro Max.
Whoa.
And I thought, and they transferred all my information over, but I didn't realize there's still stuff that you have to do to
painful
get
process,
it
Gary.
working.
Coach, you never looked better. I mean, Gary, you've never looked better. That is, I don't know how many pixels are on there. How many gigabytes of DRAM do you have on there?
I tell you, this phone it's like a computer. Let me let this backlight down here. So
it is that is a great phone. Look, Gary, last week I talked to an attorney friend in Tuscaloosa, and we had Everett Hoagland on from the federal attorney's office in Chattanooga. He used to work in Tuscaloosa and was very knowledgeable about the Charles Bediako case. And I found out that Judge Roberts, a lot of people are ripping this guy, and I've talked to him before. I know he's a good guy. Listen, I'm just going to say this. A computer randomly throws out these cases, and then you've got to make a ruling. He did not go and, what I was told, ask to rule on Charles Bediako. So people, you want to rip on him.
He's recused himself now anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it's a computerized thing, but we talked about it. I think it gets into no American will ever be denied the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and a bag of pork rinds and a cold beer if you're in the South. But it's kind of wild. Nate Oates is being eviscerated. Take it from here, Gary. You're the sports guy.
Well, I don't really know what to say. We talked about it last week, Rob. Judge Roberts has recused himself. There's a new judge on the case. There'll be a hearing. It'll be decided. If he's ruled eligible, he'll play the rest of the season. If he's not, he won't. The holier than thou attitude that everybody's got all of a sudden because Alabama went to get a guy that was in the G League for 2.5 years. As I said last week, I don't like the system. I wish that none of this was happening, but to think that, Nate Oates is the only coach trying to get an advantage here. It's like I said last week. All these coaches will say, well, we need rules. We need, we don't like this, but none of them are turning down an opportunity to get better players. If a donor walks into a coach's office and says, here's $5 million for NIL coach, I don't think there's a coach out there that's going to say, well, no, we're not going to do that. Just put it back in your pocket. I don't know what to say. If you don't like Alabama and you think this is BS, then there's nothing I can say to change your mind. I get it. Other fan bases understand this guy's going to make Alabama a better basketball team, and they don't like it. So, that's, to me, it's just what it comes down to. And the system's the system. I think it's, but I'm not doing any revisionist history here. I said this on your show, Rob, before this was implemented with NIL and the portal, the way this was going to go. And it's exactly the way it's gone. So I don't really have much to add to it. The system's the system. We all evolve, whether we like it or not. And people will say now, well, this and that and this, and don't let them in the NCAA tournament. This genie's out of the bottle. It's been out of the bottle, and this is just where we're at. But you know what? A judge will make a ruling. And as I said last week, I think he's a good kid. Covered him here when he was here his first 2 years. He didn't make it in the NBA. He's back here at Alabama. If he's ruled eligible, he'll play. If he's not, he won't. And if he's ruled ineligible, I don't know what will happen to the games if Alabama wins them. They didn't beat Well, they beat Missouri, so that's one already. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. There's not really much I can tell you. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll play out the way it plays out.
Yeah, and it's going to be that way until your school does it. I mean, I'm being fair. I'm taking. I have to be fair, like a judge doing this show. I've got 16 kids, and everybody. Just think about it. If Walker Kessler decided, you know what, I only played 2 years of college, I want to go back to Auburn. And Jabari Smith, I played 1 year. I'm coming back. Anthony Davis, the unibrow. What if he wanted to go back to Kentucky right now? I mean, or LeBron.
Yeah, there's a little bit of difference there. Charles Bediako never played in the NBA.
I
Let's be clear on that. But
being
at the same time, I have said that there's going to be a former NBA player. I mean, not a guy that was just on a G League roster. There's going to be a former NBA player that played in NBA games during the season that is going to say, hey, like what you just said, he washes out or whatever, or NFL first round draft pick, that's coming. And maybe there'll be something in place before then that changes all this. Maybe this Bediako case will fire up enough people that now they'll try to put something in place. But I just don't see what you can do. I mean, the precedent's been set unless again, I'm not a politician or a lawyer, but unless somebody in Washington gets involved, or because every time one of these student athletes or former student athletes sues the NCAA, more than likely they're going to win because it's so vague on and again, in fairness to the NCAA, I mean, I hear a lot of people now saying we talked about last week, the NCAA needs to do this, they need to do that. Well, they don't really much they can do anymore. I mean, they got their legs cut out from under them when the Supreme Court denied their motion, and they don't have a lot of power. And I guess they're trying to use what they can. I mean, I saw where you got Jamarian Latham, football player here at Alabama, is about to get a 7th year, and I'm happy for him. But I continue to say you shouldn't be allowed to play 7 or 8 years of college football. So I don't see how that's different, and that's happening a lot than a guy playing in the G League. So again, I don't know. Like I said, Rob, and I'm not trying to be cute here. You feel the way you feel. If it's your team, you probably are hoping the guy gets to play, and if it's not, you're hoping that it doesn't. Now, let's be clear. There's a lot of partisanship here. And getting back to Judge Roberts, I don't know. I mean, I imagine there are judges all over the country have their own personal opinions and their own biases. I think that's what makes you a judge, your ability to remove your bias and your own personal opinion. So he's not really going to rule on the case, but if he had from what I know of the man, he's above reproach. And everybody that I've talked to that knows him says he's just an unbelievable individual. I think he could remove the fact that he might have some ties to the University of Alabama and made a ruling, but it doesn't matter now because he's not going to be on the case.
And he's a graduate of the University of South Florida, went to Cumberland Law School over on Lakeshore Drive at Sanford, voted top judge in the state of Alabama in 2024. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, and I'm with you. And it's so easy to attack. Look, you're going to call 911. I love it. Angie Galuli down in Panama City, Florida, Bay County, director of 911 operations. You talk about dealing with stress and pressure. It's either head of the 911 in Bay County or being the NCAA hotline taking calls from angry fans. Matt, you heard what Gary Harris just said. Gary's been doing this a long time. Gary doesn't give a damn. He'll tell you what he thinks. And by the way, I want an iPhone 17 because you never looked better, and it's made you smarter than ever before. I don't know what it is, but you're speaking the truth. You're waxing eloquent, and it says a lot about the duality of fan bases. Yeah, but if you could do it, would you do it? I mean, come on, Matt. Gary's right.
So I think last week, Gary, I named you the eligibility czar of my new world. Because Gary, you've been very consistent on this topic. I've been on shows with you many times, and the Pandora's box is open. We have so many different examples. This is just another unique case. Is it more unique because the kid played in the G League? Yes, I would say it is. But the reality of the situation is amateurism has been out the window for a while now. Okay, we are paying quarterbacks in college football to stick around an enormous amount of money. Rob Browne, you have a great point. If you could do it, would you do it? I've heard a lot of college coaches comment on this. At the end of the day, Very unique situation, and let's see what the courts say. No different than what's probably going to happen in the state of Mississippi with the Chambliss ruling. I mean, a different situation. He was at Division II, injury situation, but can he get that extra year of eligibility? Some people would say that's not fair. I mean, I hope the kid does. I mean, some of these kids are getting paid. The reality of the situation, if he was that elite of a player, Gary, and he would have went from the G League to the NBA, we wouldn't have this discussion because he'd be making bankroll.
That's right.
So
That's
the reality is he wasn't good enough. So he's back in Alabama.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
To me, it's not that hard because of all the things that happened before. Let's talk about the JUCO kids that got extra years of eligibility. And then we say basically, well, that didn't count as college, so they have eligibility. I mean, they've changed things so much, Gary. I don't even like the model. I don't think anyone likes the model, to be honest with you. But there has to be some consistency. And if they decide to let this individual play, okay, let's go tip it up. I mean, we'll see. But, you know, I'm with Gary on everything he says. I am firmly in belief that we've done some things now that you really can't. I mean, there's so many different precedents out there. How can we say this couldn't happen? It could happen. Probably will happen, Rob.
Yeah. Well, let me throw this out there. People have forgotten, too. If you're a college basketball player, remember what these kids do in the offseason? They go work out with NBA teams. They go get evaluated.
Yeah.
And if they don't get the grade they want, they come back. That was the precursor for this happening. We're talking with eligibility, as they say down south, Czar, Gary Harris. Gary, you've been completely transparent the whole time. I'm with Matt. Everything's on the table. I was on the Lowdown with Lauren Meadows on this channel Tuesday night on the network here on our channel. And I was asked last week by Buddy Martin, or someone asked me, Lauren maybe, does this open the door for college football guys that go to the NFL, don't make it, coming back? I said, hell yeah. Everything is on the table. And I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do have a guest with an iPhone 17 on here, Gary.
Well, Matt made a good point about Bediako. Let's be clear on this. He's 100% right. If this guy had made it into the NBA, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I mean, he'd be making the millions of dollars on an NBA roster. He didn't. He made a mistake when he left after 2 years. I thought it was a mistake at the time based on his skill set. Great. He fit that team beautifully at Alabama. He's limited offensively, but that's something he decided to do. But he didn't make it. And so I don't know what NBA G League guys make. It's a decent living, but, you know, he could probably make as much or more by coming back to Alabama, pursuing his degree, which he does not have. So I'm sure he contacted Coach Oates and said, listen, you know, I'd like to try to come back and play at Alabama if we can work it out. I'm not 2.5 years in here. I haven't made an NBA roster. So this is a case of a guy who left, regretted it, I'm sure. And but if he had made the league, you know, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So Matt's right. He's a really good college player. He can help Alabama. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I don't want to sit here and try to say they're better with Charles Bediako. That's clear. But it's not like he's a dominant guy that was playing, you know, in the NBA and averaging 15 points a game. So, you know, I mean, I think Todd Golden said it last week. We'll beat them with him, with or without Bediako. So I don't think coaches in the SEC are shaking in their shoes over Charles Bediako coming back. I think they're probably, when they look at Alabama, more concerned that if Alabama ever has a healthy roster for 2 games in a row, that's probably more important. But he'll make them better. But Rob and you know, it's just one of those deals where, again, it is what it is. The door was open. He walked through it, and now we'll see what happens. But there'll be more of this to come. There's no doubt about it. And again, and as Nate Oates said, in fairness, how's this different? You know, you penalize American players, but you'll bring in European players that have played 3 or 4 years of professional basketball. I mean, Auburn's got a 21-year-old freshman. That's a 3-year pro in Europe, and good for them. But you know, we'll bring in European players that are pros, but we'll penalize American players that are pros. So you know, there's just, it's a mess, but everybody's trying to navigate.
Well, here's the thing, and the people are going to criticize me for saying you should never be allowed to do it. You got to try to be like a judge, and honestly, you have to listen to every side of the story. But y'all,
well, Rob, let me say this: you should never be allowed to do it. This should not be the system that we have. So I agree with people when they say, but the problem is, well, before this system was implemented, it's not a situation that's what people wanted then. They wanted this door open. I mean, plenty of people in our business couldn't stand it that players just weren't lined up getting a check. So you had a system in place. Maybe it should have been tweaked, but to just overhaul it immediately, like I said, it goes from 55-mile-per-hour speed zone to no speed zone at all. You just go running wide open. It's too late now. I mean, but I don't like this system. I wish we didn't have it, but it's what we've got.
Yeah, and look, Brendan's sitting there. Former Hawks forward Al Griffin is eyeing a return to Alabama. That's just on something I just saw. Look at it this way. If the European guys can come in after 3 or 4 years, and trust me, basketball is huge. The summer leagues in Europe, if you are traveling abroad, all you'll see on TV at night, there are two things you'll see on the weekends are track meets. Track meets are like college football games in the SEC in Europe, and you'll see basketball, professional basketball. Now, look, whether it's right or we know it's wrong, but when you get to the Constitution and you get to the court system, you cannot deny an American those three things: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. It's the NCAA has no subpoena power. They can't go in civil court. It's all about antitrust laws. That's what my attorney, Jack Turner, a graduate of the Hugo Black College of Law in Tuscaloosa, tells me every time we talk about it. So it is crazy. It shouldn't happen. I hate NIL on the surface for what it is because you can't pay people before they do things. In the sales commission business, every month on the first day of the month, I have a 0.00. I have to pull out of the driveway doing 115 miles an hour, but I'm used to that. I love pressure. You know what? Don't be the 911 operator if you can't handle pressure. Don't be a coach if you can't handle pressure. But Gary, every school in America, it's coming. Every school is going to be faced with a Charles Bediako before we know it. Don't tell me, oh, we would never do it until you have to say yes or no. You'll probably do it. I hate NIL. I hate the portal. But right now, the courts have allowed it, and you're not going to beat our Constitution.
Yep. I want to say one thing in Nate Ope's behalf. If I coached a young man or young woman, and they were in this situation and they want to come back, I'd fight like hell for them. So
yeah, that's what he said.
And I didn't hear that, Gary, but that's just my opinion because I'm a coach.
Yeah, he said I'm always going to back my players.
And I respect the heck out of that. I think that's what I would do. I think that's what if coaches say they wouldn't do that, they're lying. I mean, because they always have their players' backs within certain limits, right? But I respect the fact that this young man wants to come back and get his degree, and the system's a little different now, and I hope it works out for this young man. I really do. And
yeah, I think we're all in agreement, and I think most of the people reading the text are in agreement that we wish. I mean, I think most of us think that college sports should be for young men and women 18 to 23 years old in a 5-year window. And once you leave college to turn pro, you should not be allowed to come back. And you shouldn't be able to be on your 7th or 8th school like TJ Finley and getting, this type of eligibility. None of this, in my opinion, should be what college sports is about. But, again, we're talking about Charles Bediako. I continue to bring up the question. Nobody wants to address it. How are all these people eligible? How are all of these student athletes that go to 2 and 3 schools sometimes in a semester jump from school? And I mean, how do you stay eligible? How do you have a complete transcript? How do you finish? How can you jump to another school in the middle of a semester? Oh, that's fine. We're going to transfer everything over. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense to me. Nobody addresses that.
You cannot do it. I can tell you. I mean, when I was in school at Auburn, buddy, I remember going back the day of the Cotton Bowl. Auburn lost to Texas A&M. I had to drive back so I could get there for class to start to do drop and add stuff. You were terrified.
That's right. Terrified. You had a small time period.
A little window, and there wasn't any exception. It was like going, "Niet, no." There was the word "no." Sometimes that's no means tell me more if you're a salesman, but in drop and add, that every time you transfer, your chances of graduating in within 7 or 8 years goes down further every time. Look, read some of these.
How about the linebacker from Cal that went to Clemson, was enrolled in classes and working out, and now he's at Ole Miss?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that work?
This is such BS, and all these pinheads that are allowing this to happen, they've got to stop it. Look, Rob, Kerry Jones, real quick. This is why college sports is being destroyed because of all this crap. What's next? Are colleges trading players in midseason? College sports don't exist. It's pro now. We've got to get some order to it because these kids, okay, you want to treat them like adults and pros. You get upfront money to go from one company to another. It's a 5-year contract. You leave within the first year, you owe 80% of that money within 60 business days. It's not debatable. Start putting teeth in these contracts. Then you'll stop it. Mensa leaves Duke halfway in a 2-year NIL deal. He's at Miami. They did reach a settlement. Coach Matt Dean from Davenport, Iowa, the Quad Cities. Go ahead.
I just want to say, guys, I've been in a world that's totally different for 35 years. I work at a Division III institution with the NCAA. We are compliant. We have financial aid packages. This year, our tuition room board cost, Gary, is $76,000. I deal with financial aid packages. God. But the beauty of what I've done is, in my opinion, we develop kids because we don't always get 5 stars. And I've probably coached between 15 and 20 doctors and lawyers now over my time. And the relationships we built, and to see those players be successful and become mothers and fathers, that's why I do it. And that's why it's fascinating. When you talk about eligibility, you're exactly right, Gary. The hardest thing I have to do at Rhodes is when I get a transfer kid, will they take the credits? Can they afford it? Because we don't give transfer kids a lot of times the same packages we give 4-year kids. It's just it's a business model, right? It is hard at certain levels of this NCAA for coaches. And we see things like this. I am just fascinated. That's why I'm pulling for the kid, because I want the kid to get a degree, because if he doesn't become an elite NBA player, I want him to be able to take care of himself and his family. That's my bottom line.
I think I got to go, guys. I see Barry getting up in there.
Barry and Wimp Sanders, is Winifred in the studio?
No, he never makes it into the studio.
Gary, I love you, man. You are the eligibility czar.
Well, I really know very little about it.
More
I
than you
just have
think,
strong opinions.
More than you think.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Much. Hey, catch him.
All right, thank you so much.
I've got the Tide 100.9 app on my phone. I love to listen to Gary. He has a great show right after us. You know what? Here's my take. TJ Finley's college football tour.
That's pretty incredible.
LSU, Auburn, Tulane, Georgia State.
I hope he's got a doctorate somewhere there, Rob. He should have a master's and a doctorate.
He should have
an undergrad, a master's, and a doctorate.
If he goes one more year, it's 4 years undergrad, 4 years of medical school, 5 years of residency, 1 year fellowship.
Okay.
I mean, come on, TJ.
Hey, listen, we're poking fun of this, right?
Yeah.
But here's the reality. I've never met this young man, but I hope he's got multiple college degrees. I hope he's got paid. And I hope he lives a tremendous career, has a tremendous career, because honestly, they are working the system. That's the system we live in, Rob. And I think sometimes we get frustrated. We talk on this show a ton about we don't like it, but Rob, it's forever changed. And it's never going back in the bottle.
Yeah. If you don't have the intelligence to improvise, adapt, and overcome, you will go the way of the ivory-billed woodpecker. Okay, you will be extinct. The dodo bird, the passenger pigeon, all those, the Bachman's warbler. Okay, bottom line, it's a hot topic. I don't like it. It should not be allowed. Right. But you start getting into the Constitution. The late Judge Anthony Scalia was brilliant at interpreting the Constitution. It's not a living and breathing document. It is what it is. Our founding fathers, very smart men. Very forward thinking, because the laws in our Constitution still work today. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. But what I hate is the academic part. Damn it, I can tell you this much. I was held to a standard at CBHS. Coach George Pratt, Coach Carey, Coach Reed. You know what they tell you if they got really mad at you? They'd say, boy, your parents pay a lot of money to send you here.
That's right.
You better get your ass in line and start paying attention, or you'll wish you never met me. That got through to me, okay? Brother Joel S. McGraw, Fratre Scholarum, as good a man as you'll ever meet in the world. I think about this. Colleges, you got to have your Matt Deans. You got to have people, Coach Brady. Can you imagine Coach Brady? Both of y'all are very calm, but I imagine there's a tipping point.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. But some people rule with their quiet demeanor, and boy, if they go off, then you're like, wow, it's kind of terrifying. I don't think it needs to be allowed, but it's going to start happening at schools all over the country. Somebody has got to put their big boy pants on and take a leadership role with the NCAA and act like a man and an alpha male culture rule. You've got anything goes. You cannot go along to get along and just acquiesce and capitulate all your life. You got to take a stand for something. I don't like it. It's not right, but it's happening. And all I've said is it's going to start happening, and every school is going to have to deal with this, because if it happened at Alabama and it happened at Baylor, it'll happen at every school in America. Don't tell me you're taking some moral high ground. Oh, we would never allow it. As fans, I agree with these people that are putting their comments up on here. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, and it's absolutely totally wrong all the way. And I love the comments from our listeners. Please share, subscribe, and like us. Executive producer Brendan Martin. I've never seen anything like him. He's like an octopus doing 8 things at once during this show. Matt?
Last thing I want to say is I'll make a little college football comment here.
College football?
I know we're all over the place, but the biggest thing we got to do, I think, in football, and I think in basketball too, okay, it's different calendars. We got to fix the calendar. I talked to my son, who's a player personnel director, Rob, at Oregon, and I think there's a lot of talk about moving to more of an NFL model where you kind of get away from spring ball, but you have like OTAs in the spring, right? You move the portal to more of a springtime situation, okay? That eliminates some of the mess when you have the college football playoffs and conference championships. Maybe that eliminates some of the things that are going on there, creating problems for teams that actually make the playoffs and really can't be active in the portal because they're trying to win the national championship. But let's fix the calendar. Let's get Nick Saban involved. And then let's figure out, maybe we get Coach K involved for basketball. We get those 2 guys in the room. We figure out the basketball calendar and the football calendar, and then we go from there.
And I want Coach Brady involved too. Yeah. Coach Matt Dean, Rhodes College in Memphis. The Lynx lair, I love it. And I got a Lynx hoodie last year, and Audrey took it within 2 seconds of me showing it to her.
I'll get you some more product, Rob.
We're going to lunch maybe tomorrow or at least next week when the weather clears up for you. But love your insight. You and Coach Brady, Gary Harris. Great stuff. Hey, most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. We're the most blessed people in the greatest country in the history of the world. I want to thank our sponsors. Let me say this too. MyTownRoofing.com. A lot of roofs I'm hearing are collapsing. All right. MyTownRoofing.com. Corey Carter, Major Fusel, Chris Fiedler. Fiedler, by the way, 3rd generation roofer. That's incredible. I mean, but these are the best people, the best crews. MyTownRoofing.com, right there in Collierville, Tennessee. They work the Mid-South. Give them a call. Let them know you heard about them on Sidelines. They are great people to work with. Take a picture of that QR code. And look, LandersFordMemphis.com, Poplar and Houston Levy, open every day of the week except Sundays. Also, the new location, Mount Moriah and I-240. That's an iconic location. You all know where it is. And they are in business every day except Sunday. Service department picks you up, round-trip transportation. Get involved with them. And remember, also Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company on the historic square, Collierville, Tennessee. All your boots, your Barber, your Filson, all your gear. Lights out gummies. Aches and pains, trouble sleeping. These things work. I promise you, use promo code Flash Friday. You'll get 25% off. The gummies work. I take the energy gummies. They're great. They're great. Give you energy. I hadn't had one today. I take the chill gummies. My kids say I'm calm when I take a chill gummy. And then you take a night, a lights out gummy. You will sleep better than you have since you were 9 years old. Okay. Again, Hewlett & Dunn open every day except Sunday. And Rumble Boxing Gym, Union and McLean, great people. Look, Tom Martin's Body Shop, Patterson, B.B. King, and Cervetti over there at Garage on Black Road in East Memphis. All sponsors of our show. We're blessed. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Be careful out there.